we've gone on a number of tangents here, and that's kind of the way I roll, which is kind of, I don't know, that's always how I always do it. But I have to bring you back to a little bit about the school here, about your role, and how this school has grown and progressed. I mean, what have you seen from this community overall, and just the time you've been in Stoughton working here, about how people have become more engaged with the school, and what you think Kicks has gotten from this community?
Well, from what the other individuals have gotten, or the community has gotten from us, is hopefully show that we care, and hopefully they've gained that empathy. Working with the different schools alone, oh man, I'll tell you what, I've been working with this one, Sandhill actually, and great. I'm so thankful that they actually brought me in and helped me out, let me help them. I had 4 individuals. These 4 individuals have been really rough and tough, and they've had a lot of times that they're in the office and a lot of focus issues, you know, and maybe like the 4 strongest, hardest bullies out of all of them. And I'd hate to say that because they're great individuals once you pull that label away from them. And within the 5 months that I've been working with them, holy cow, they're not in the office. They're a better leader in the class. And what I'm hoping that this does is it kind of spreads like wildfire. Oh man, it's the greatest, happiest thing ever. You know, a couple of weeks ago when I finally got to meet with them one more time this last month, the psychologist came up and he said, you know what, I have seen such a great improvement from these 4 kids already. You know, we thank you for the time that you've been putting into it. And it's not like we're doing it for a price or anything. We're just going in there for the kindness out of our hearts to help with these individuals. And when the kids go up there and they pull us in for those Star for the days, oh, it's been so great, you know. And the growth here, I mean, we started out with 22 kids 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I mean, that's crazy, maybe 3.5. And we've grown to 220 students now.
Wow.
And, right, and we got a brand new floor just 2 weeks ago. We've opened up a new location. We've gotten nothing but positive feedback. You know, we do get negative feedback every once in a while, but that's okay. The feedback that we get is to grow, is to say, hey, thank you for that feedback. Now we're gonna buckle down and find a way to grow on from it. And we got Business of the Year 2017.
Yeah, tell us about that. I kind of blew over that here, but you guys just got a great recognition from the city recently, right?
We did, and we had some of the parents recommend us for that, which was really, really kind. Nothing but kind words to say about all of our students here, you know. So starting from 22 to 220, seeing the growth and seeing that people really want to be here. So we started some new programs. I don't know where to start with that. You know, I was just I just don't even know where that came from. You know, because it's not like we asked for it or anything like that. I never asked for any of it. It was because my focus is, how can I improve? So how can I keep improving the people around me? And, you know, to show that recognition was super nice of them, and I respect that a lot. I was just like, all in awe. I don't know where else to go with that.
It's certainly, I mean, I think in a lot of people's areas, regardless of what business or what you put your time and energy and effort into, which obviously you do here, to be, not that we need it, but to be recognized is certainly, you know, gives you a very good feeling, but it's also something that I think most of us, you know, it's kind of an affirmation of a recognition of, hey, all of that time, all of that effort, all of that work I've been putting into really is being noticed by people, and it really is making an impact, a positive impact in our world. And, you know, for most of us as human beings, when you get done with everything, right, at the end of the day, at the end of the line, wherever we end up, if enough people can say about you that you've made a positive impact in this world, I think that'd be most of our goals. So kudos.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Building that legacy.
Well, you know, to me, it's more about, because, you know, hey, we're not going to be world leaders. We're not going to be talking in front of millions of people and messaging and things like that to try to rally people together. Like, well, maybe you will one day. I don't know. But anyway, most of us are going to do that on a smaller scale. But can we positively impact our communities? Can we positively impact the lives of our neighbors and friends?
Yes.
And if you do that, man, that's a pretty good life.
It's a choice that I've made, that I'm going to do that. And
Right
Stoughton has been super awesome of letting me do that. Let me take on that new task of being that positive influence in the community and itself.
We might have to make this a two-parter. This is going on a while.
Holy cow!
We might have to make this a two-parter. Get that? Okay, that's a note for production team. Production team is me, so.
Mr. Hafen put in the extra time.
Anyway, I haven't been very good at reminding people of who we're talking to. Mr. Matt Griffey from Kicks Unlimited Stoughton. I'm Jason Hafman, host of All Over the Map, and that's how I've lived most of my life, all over the map with my interests. So today we're talking about martial arts. We're talking about lots of stuff. The importance of respect and bullying, what you can learn, and physical activity, exercise, and the health that can bring you. But we're also talking a little bit more about how one person's journey can affect a lot of other people. And I think that's one thing, you are newer to Stoughton, but you've been really entrenched in this community in your time here. And, that's something too, that going to a new town can be a little difficult at times for a number of people, but you just kind of grabbed it and ran with it and said, I want to help out wherever I can, and that's allowed you to make a lot of connections here. So how do you feel that you've been able to get involved in some other organizations in Stoughton itself? Because I know I've seen you posting about being at this meeting or involved with different groups. Tell us some of the other groups you're involved in and how you're also contributing to Stoughton in other ways.
Well, some of the different ways that we're contributing, that I've been contributing personally in my time, is I started out with a Leadership Stoughton group. Leadership Stoughton actually opened my eyes to what this community actually brings. And if you haven't gotten to that, you should really think about diving into it. The cost up front is a little extensive, but it was a cost to invest into yourself. Sure. The way that I thought about it was I took this cost and I said, yes, I'm going to do this because I have a goal, I have a vision, and I want to stick to my vision and my goals. I want to be an integral part of this community. And they actually tie you in with a project that you have to do. And they talk about a lot of different things. One of my favorite ones so far was probably the ethics. They brought up ethics and hearing about it in different ways. They brought up MATC brought down a guy, and he was super awesome, super fun to listen to. The whole entire day, he just brought up really hard subjects. And it was fun to think on it on a personal scale. Am I relating this? Am I focused on that when I'm doing, out in the community projects or whatever the case is? We got to work with the Stoughton community, or the Stoughton Senior Center alone, because they have a wood shop down there, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Mike Point, I believe his name was, a great guy, fun to be around. He helped us build some benches for the Keeganza Elementary here. In Keeganza Elementary, they have this outdoor classroom, and they needed some benches so that way the kids wouldn't have to sit on dirt or logs or things like that. So we built some Aldo Leopold type benches that the kids were able to enjoy. And they go out, the kindergartners in the first grade get to go out there, and they get to sit out there and read. They get to sit out there and learn about nature, and that was really fun. So we talked to the school. We asked them about their needs. Their needs were these benches or a all-access food pantry, so that anyone can just come in, drop off food, and then anyone can grab it whenever they need it, which is still something that's in the back of my mind. How can I do this to help this school? Because there's a lot of community members that, maybe can't get the food, or they feel very embarrassed to go to the food pantry in themselves. So I was like, well, what can I do in my personal time and help improve on that? And that's something that I'm looking into later on.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but we were able to build these benches for them so that way they could start taking it now and start using it. a couple of different leadership things that I've been on to is I started working with the chamber a little bit more. And one of the things that I really found out that the chamber actually, Mr. Hafman, it's really crazy. The chamber actually pays for Setting to Mai. So all the funds that they come in usually goes right back to Setting to Mai. The city, what they do is they protect the Setting to Mai parade. They bring in extra law enforcement and things like that. So they can't actually help provide for the Setting to Mai. So chamber members, they took it on themselves to help improve on that. So I'm kind of in the middle right now of, well, I can help with the chamber, but I'd also like to get into the city a little bit. I think I'm kind of playing both ways and seeing which way I fit in and which way I can help be most beneficial with my skills and my talents.
Sure.
So it's been a very busy year, because I started this in September when school started. So.
Wow. And like you talked about, I know you've been active in the schools and trying to help out that way too. And obviously that's, kids, working with kids is probably your number one.
It is.
Number one thing. And I think that's great. I mean, just having a positive impact, having a positive influence, for our kids is really important. The more positive influences we can find out there. And I know parents, hey, I need help. So any other like positive influences you get your kids around, that's a benefit for sure. So one other thing with you, so I know we talked about some of that stuff, but you've also been I want to talk a little bit about your background here. So you got some other interesting skills. Now we're not going to say that we're hiring you out or trying to find you some side jobs because you probably don't have time for it. But you used to be a plumber, right? And
I used to be a plumber, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I used to be a plumber.
You sweat a pipe?
I can.
All right,
I can.
sweet. Okay.
I used to do it all the time. It may not be the prettiest of jobs, but I can do it,
It's plumbing. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to not leak, right?
Exactly. I find.
Right?
I used to do that. I used to do construction, remodeling for 14 years. Actually, I started that when I was the age of 13. My father said, well, if you're going to do this X, Y, or Z, if you're going to live with me, you're going to work. When I started martial arts, I had to pay for it. And I paid for it, the whole thing, all the way up. The only thing that I didn't pay for was my testing fees, which my parents were like, hey, I'll reward you for doing such a great job for that. Which, I was very, very grateful for and very appreciative of. Because I wanted this. This is something that I wanted to do as a better positive role model for my kids, or my siblings. And I knew that it would be very beneficial for me in the long run. And it was a great way to connect with my sister as well. My sister, she actually became a black belt with me a couple months afterwards. I dove in and I just went with it. I was there 7 days a week, push, because like I said, I had to pay for it. So if I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to get the most out of it. Mm-hmm. And it was great. It was a great time. I learned so much. And positive experiences all the way around. And then when I got to my black belt and I was able to help my mom and my dad get through, they actually got pretty high. I'd say they got to about blue stripe before my mom passed away at that point. And she actually owned the school for me, so that way I could start learning how to run the business and how to run the different side of the martial arts rather than just the floor. My parents bought the school for me so that way I could learn all that. And I was like, wow, and I look back on it sometimes and I wonder, maybe I wasn't ready for that point. Maybe I had to learn how to do the floor a little bit better before I could learn how to do the business end. And
it's a totally different side.
Oh my gosh, it totally is. There's the working part, there's the product, and then there's the marketing of that product. And I'll tell you what, I feel like I have the floor way better than I have on this side here. No, but I am learning, and it is something that I always want to improve on, so that way I have a better customer relation, because that's my number one goal, is to find, to build trust, not only here on the floor, but also outside. And it's not always easy. So
well, just going back to your start in martial arts and as a teenager, committing to that the way you did, what do you think that did for you as a kid?
It made me more focused, more disciplined. I wasn't always the best of kids, you know. There were times
we all make mistakes.
Yes,
so, yeah.
I made tons of mistakes when I was younger. And once I hit that martial arts role, and then I was getting groomed to become an instructor, I started realizing it more. And I was realizing what I was doing and where my lack of focus was in some areas. And I was like, this is a time to I really truly discovered myself and who I really wanted to be, my vision. And and I've changed my vision over and over again, but it all started with that, hey, I don't want to be that negative person anymore. So
yeah, I mean, we all have good things that happen in life, we all have bad things that happen in life, and a lot of really how those things affect you are basically up to you. How you look at things, how you deal with different situations, can have a huge impact on whether that becomes just a kind of a little bump in the road or becomes something that just drags you down repeatedly. And it's not wrong to have something really take hold of you and bring you down. But if you have positive things that you can draw from to pull yourself back up and have other people supporting you and get out of that rut, life is just a heck of a lot better, regardless of if it's exactly what you want it to be, or if it's just some things you want in there and some things that you're just dealing with and making work. Life can be a heck of a lot better based on the way you approach it and look at it. That's what I've learned.
Yes,
So,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
One of my
I don't know. Hey, I can't always make that work for myself, but I do my best. But it's certainly something that I've definitely learned over the years.
Right, sir. I know I've had a few experiences that have just been really tough, really hard to get over. One of the obstacles was when my mom passed away. That was really tough for me and my whole family. And then my sister, when she passed away, that one was really the same one that got the black belt with me. That was really challenging for me as well. She had a kid. She was 17 years old, had a child with her. And then finding out what to do with Macy, her daughter. I had, I really contemplated on that for a long time, and I was like, well, it's a no-brainer. If I passed away and I had a child, I'd expect my family to take her or my child. And I took on Macy, and I was like, I'm going to adopt you, and I'm going to keep you, safe, and I'm going to keep you loved, and help you grow and become a better person like your mom would want you to be. So that was a challenging point. There was challenges, becoming a dad all of a sudden to a 1.5-year-old where you've had no experience, no education in at all, to take in that child, and then all of a sudden you have your wife at the time is expecting. What do you do? All of a sudden you look into it and you say, you know what? It's that was the real big turning point, I think, that I need to improve not only just for myself, but I need to improve for my adopted daughter, and I need to improve for my future child as well that's going to be here. So that's what got me involved into Kicks, is I saw an opportunity. Mr. Hewitt, actually the founder of Kicks Unlimited, he was teaching on the floor, and in my past experience, the head instructor never taught on the floor. If you got to work with the head instructor at a martial arts school, oh my gosh, you need to be there, right? You need to be there.
Yeah.
So, I read it as, hey, I need help. I need an extra hand on the floor. So I messaged him on Facebook, and I said, hey, Mr. Hewitt, can I come in and try out for a lesson? He took a chance on me. And at first, it was a little different because I was still in that militaristic type of format. And after a little bit of time, I started to have more of an open mind and starting to hear these things. And with raising my own children as well, I really started to say, oh, you know what? Maybe that's not the right way to do it. So I started being more caring, try to focus in on each individual rather than myself more often. So, and hopefully you see that with Sophia and Evan as well, that I'm more focused in on that. Hopefully that's okay. I said that.
Yeah. We see. No, I mean your energy and positive vibe that you continually give off is a big reason why I think a lot of people choose to start their kids here. So, and then so many of them stick with it because of the experience they have, and that has a lot to do with you, and a lot to do with just the overall family atmosphere of the school and the people involved. So, but before we got to that point, you're talking about a whole lot of real life stuff right there, and some people hit things like that and they take a downturn, and you found a way to propel yourself from there. So that's admirable for sure.
Thank you.
Man, okay. I was gonna jump into something else, but it doesn't seem right now.
What's that?
I was just gonna. It's okay. Here's the deal. We're probably gonna have to do another show.
Probably.
Okay. Another show. We'll do it again later on. We'll be back. Okay. There's a whole bunch more we can talk about. But anyway, this is Mr. Matt Griffey.
This is Mr. Haveman.
From Kicks Unlimited. I got my kick shirt on today.
Woohoo!
Right there. Anyway, great guy, great school, great activity for your kids and our family members to get involved in, and really it's like that. I mean, if I did. I'm going back now. I did 6 weeks of karate when I was 10, I think. My instructor was a green belt. We did not get very far. I think I was to gold before the school kind of folded up and dissolved, and that was my previous experience before I started here a couple of years ago. So.
Yes, let's go back into
that. And I have balance problems. I've always had issues with balance, and somehow I was doing some of these kicks and balancing on one foot and not falling over. So it's a testament to you guys here too that some of that worked out.
Well, thank you, and we'll have to focus in on the next podcast where we talk about how martial arts differs from way back when. It's not those movies that you see where they're all out there and they're like, whoa.
Although Pat Morita was awesome. I mean, come on. He's a little guy like that, and I know it's a movie, but he even the most recent one where I don't know how old he is, but he's taken out like 20 guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, I love it.
Anyway.
Yes.
All right. So this is All Over the Map, adequately named, and we just finished it up that way. Thanks for tuning in. There'll be more episodes coming up. And this is Mr. Matt Griffey from Kicks Unlimited. I'm Jason Haveman.
Excellent.
We'll catch you next time.
And
thanks for being on, Matt. Yeah, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
All right. Sky's the limit, sir.
Sky's the limit.
We're out.